Welcome to Family Business World. I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell, and I have an amazing, another amazing guest, Chris Donnelly, who's another good friend. And Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dale, for having me.
Yeah, well, again, we've been talking about doing this, and you're doing some really interesting things. But first, tell me a little about the history of the business. What's going on with Donnelly?
Well, Donnelly Construction, as you're well aware, it's a family commercial construction company that my father started 42 years ago.
Wow.
We've been at it a long time. That's our primary business. We also have a real estate division and we also have an energy division, Donnelly Energy, which we started in 2008.
Okay.
In the last recession. But our construction division, we're heavily involved in the private sector, from country club renovations to banks, private schools, churches, you name it. In 40 years, we've done a lot. We used to do a lot of retail back in the day,
right?
Throughout the 80s and 90s. Before my time, my dad would travel all around really the country and do fit outs for retail centers.
Amazing.
And so that kind of morphed, and over the last 20 years, we focused heavily in the country club world. And usually every year we renovate at least 3-4 country clubs. And the one nice thing about that is that keeps us busy throughout the winter. So we're pretty much busy all year round. As a club, they close in the winter, so when do they want to do all the renovations? Come, Labor Day, they shut down or close to it, and we go like mad to Memorial Day so that they can open back up.
And now you just do the buildings? You don't do the courses, you really just do the buildings?
Just the buildings.
Okay.
No, we don't really do any course maintenance or construction of that sort. Just buildings.
Now, do you have any brothers or sisters in the business? Did your dad have any brothers and sisters? Or tell me about the family dynamics.
So my dad is one of 4 brothers. I'm one of 3 brothers. My dad's brothers, I guess, helped him when he first started the business. And he pretty much took it and ran with it. They went off to do their own thing. They actually all my dad's brothers moved throughout the country. My dad's brother, one moved to California, another one's in Georgia, another one's in South Jersey. But me and my brothers, or my other 2 brothers, I'm the middle child, and my older brother has been with the company since college. He actually went off on his own for a while after college to kind of see the world in a different place and see what other companies have to offer, and came back and has been very helpful with what he's learned. So he's been back with us for a few years now. My younger brother Sean has been working with the company since he graduated college. I'm 38. My brother's about to be 40. And my younger brother's 33. So we're all kind of in the midst of it. We all have a different aspect of what we focus on. My younger brother's actually involved with a manufacturing company that we represent from Japan. Actually, we sell machines throughout North America.
Wow.
So that's a completely different business that we got involved with about 20 years ago.
Interesting. What a complex. So I want to hear about your background some, but first, your dad. What got him into construction? Why did they start? What was he doing before he got into construction?
Well, it's interesting. He started in college painting houses, houses, and he was trying to figure out a way to make money and make ends meet. And my grandparents didn't really have much, and he started painting homes. And anytime he was in a house, if the homeowner asked him to fix something, he would say yes, no matter what. Even if he didn't,
no matter what it was.
No matter what it was, he figured it out, and started that way, and working and painting, and then doing little handyman stuff. And then we morphed into a subcontractor doing all types of carpentry. And with that, morphed even more to become a GC. And so we've been really a full GC for over 30 years.
Wow.
my dad started painting, I think, in 1977, I think. So it's pretty interesting how we started. Now we have about 100 employees. We service the whole tri-state area.
Wonderful.
And it's we had a pretty good recipe for success. Yeah. And now the interesting part is how is the next generation going to take over?
Exactly.
And that's why I joined Fairleigh Dickinson's, the Family Business Forum, all for families, and try to learn whatever the people are dealing with, how the transition's going, because eventually my dad right now is 65. Okay. So he's still on the younger side, but, he's worked like a maniac for a long time, and, he's had enough.
Right.
So he's not going to hang up his tool belt tomorrow, but eventually he's going to spend more and more time, taking some time off and starting to enjoy a little bit, play some golf too.
Well, and again, you have so many different businesses that there are enough things to keep the next generation, working. And so, again, you've been a member of our Family Business Alliance and come to our Family Business Forums, but you're also in the Fairleigh Dickinson Silberman College of Business MBA program. Talk to me. Why did you decide to do that, and how's that going?
Well, it was interesting. About 4 years ago, I was sitting down with my dad talking about the next generation taking over and trying to look at the business from a different angle. And no one in our family has ever gotten an MBA. And he said, I think maybe you should go back and potentially look into getting an MBA. I think it would be really helpful. Because my dad just went to college and then worked through college. And right after college, boom, off he went working, 6 days a week, 60, 70 hours a week.
Right.
So with that, at that time, it was 4 years ago, I started looking into MBA programs, found Fairleigh Dickinson's executive MBA program, loved everything about it. It was actually the Saturday program. So it was in person, with classmates in front of a professor, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to take any online classes. Right. So I signed up, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. I started in the spring of 2017 and thought to myself, I'm going to take my time and get this MBA. At that point, my kids were only 3 years old. So I knew that I couldn't be in school 10 months a year and, have the family and the work aspect. So I ran through that spring semester, took the fall off, and I've been going at it ever since. I just finished up my last spring semester here in 2020. Unfortunately, due to the whole COVID-19, the FDU went to online remote learning, and my last class I had to withdraw from because I just couldn't do everything online with everything going on, and just too crazy. So I only have one class left, and then I will graduate, but it's been a whirlwind. I've learned a tremendous amount, had all great professors, met a lot of great people, and so I'm almost there. I'm almost to the finish line.
Almost, yeah. Well, you've been doing. No, again, it is a great program, and so I want to talk about the webinar. As you know, we've had Tony Russo on Family Business World from CIA&J, and you're doing a webinar with them. But before, with the pandemic and the crisis, is construction? Are you hurting? Has it maintained? What's going on with your construction during the crisis?
Well, we had a bunch of jobs in New York that were shut down. None of them were essential, so we had to close them down. We had a hotel we were renovating in Manhattan. We had a couple office fit outs we were doing in Brooklyn. And so they had to shut down. We also had to shut down a few projects in New Jersey that were non-essential. We also had about, out of our 100 employees, we had about 30 employees that wanted to take a few weeks off to regroup. Okay. I guess they were scared given the circumstances. So they're still taking some time off, hoping that this all, I don't hold a crystal ball on when this is all going to end, but I'm hoping by June things kind of get back to normal and we can get back working. But I do know we've had projects that were already on the books signed with a contract that we're supposed to start this upcoming either summer or fall that have been postponed indefinitely.
Oh boy.
So it, you know, it is a tough time. You know, we're trying to do our best. The one company that is pushing and is still building is Amazon. They actually just hired us to do a fit out. They just, I guess, signed leases for 3 buildings, 2 in Massachusetts and 1 in Newark.
Wow.
And
wow.
we're doing the fit out for those 3. So that's going to keep us busy. You know,
That's good news. That's great news.
Yeah.
Are those competitive bid? Is that relationship? How does, for those that don't know construction, I mean, how, I know for the state government you have to do competitive bid, but what about private companies? How does that work?
private, some people want to just work with you and you could say, hey, look, here's our price.
Right.
Other times it's a bid, and if we have a relationship, we can say to either the client or the architect or both, say, hey, look, you know, we want to help out, you know, any way we are. If our numbers don't look the way they should, you know, just give us an idea and where we are, where we stand, and if we can make the numbers work, and it's something that would help us both out, we'll give it a go. I mean, most of our work is either repeat business or referrals.
Right.
So there's always a relationship. The Amazon fellow in that works for them, the president of our construction division has known him for about a year.
Okay.
And we're finally working with them now. So we just finished up one of them in Massachusetts, and then they just hired us for another one in Mass, and then the one here in Newark. So
That's fantastic. That's well, that's, you know, right now there's probably no better client than Amazon, given what's going on, and people are ordering online and their expansion and so on. And so that's one of the things too that we're hearing as I do this show, you know, this Family Business World show, is that relationships, Chris, are so important that you have to, for your business, doesn't matter what business you're in, developing a relationship. And even now, as you're looking for stimulus information and other things, dealing with your bank, dealing with your accountant, your attorney, those relationships. And you've always been a great relationship guy. I know you play golf and other things. And what's your secret about developing networking? What kind of advice would you give to family business folks who want to learn how to network?
I'm a big advocate of golf, and you can learn an awful lot on somebody's character hanging out with them for 4 hours on a golf course, whether it's good or bad.
To see if they move the ball, to see if they take some.
You can take out a potential client, and the way they act on a golf course really truly shows how they act out off the course.
Yeah.
And we've had times where we've played golf with people that we thought were a potential client, and you know, they're throwing their clubs, like you said, cheating, and it's just, then you say, hey, I do not want to.
Right.
I don't want to work with this guy. And it was funny, actually, you said that. I was golfing with somebody actually this past fall in just a nice Monday outing for a fundraiser, and the fellow was cheating, and it was just very awkward.
Wow.
And just, I said to my dad after the round, I said, well, I don't think I want to get that guy's business card.
Yeah.
And we were randomly with them, but anyway.
Yeah.
That's
No. And again, you hear those stories. I mean, I always heard about that. You know, if somebody takes you out for breakfast and they're interviewing you, and you put salt on the eggs before you taste it, some people say, you know, that's their judgment is questionable. So those of you that are listening, whenever you're on an interview, whenever you're interacting with somebody, you better be on your best behavior. Hopefully, it's natural that you're not going to cheat, but that's part of, that's part of the game. And so we'll begin talking. We're gonna in a little while we're gonna take a break, but I want to begin talking about this webinar and kind of this new. We've talked about doing some training and other things. Tell me a little bit about what you're thinking there. We'll start there and then maybe finish up after a break.
Okay, so about when the market crashed in 2008, we were looking at other ways to help our clients, besides just offering them construction and, offer services in and around facilities. And we developed and started this energy division, Donnelly Energy, and we've been working with the New Jersey Clean Energy Program, which there's a bunch of programs for different commercial buildings, residential, in terms of upgrading facilities with energy efficiency measures. And the state of New Jersey was putting a lot of money into it and funding a lot of it. So we ran with that for about the last 10 years. We were the one main program we were working on was called the Direct Install Program.
Okay.
And the program paid up to 70% of the total cost to upgrade commercial buildings.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the. We're going to break for a commercial break, but I want to stay on that 70% because that's pretty incredible, and most people don't know about this. So hold on, we'll come right back after this commercial break and talk more about this energy program. Welcome to Family Business World. We're coming back after the commercial break, talking to Chris Donnelly of Donnelly Industries and talking about the energy program. So, this 70% number fascinates me. Tell me more about that, Chris.
So the New Jersey Clean Energy Program, which is, if anyone wants to check out the website, it's njcleanenergy.com. And the one program we were working on was the Direct Install Program, which was under the commercial. If you click on the commercial tab, there's about 4 or 5 programs. The Direct Install Program was the one we were working on. It was for small to medium-sized commercial buildings, and in essence, you would go through. One of our auditors would go through, audit the building, see how many lights you have, interior, exterior, go on the roof, do a count of the rooftop units, and punch in the numbers and say it was $100,000 to replace all the lights to LED and to replace the rooftop units to high efficiency units. The program would pick up 70% of that. They would pay 70%. The client would pay 30%. The nice thing about it was and is the program pays us directly the 70%, and the client pays us the 30% directly.
Wow, that's nice.
So you don't have to wait to get your money back. You don't have to fund it all.
Right.
So it's up to some, depending on the measures. If you had a newer unit, you're not going to get a 70%. But the older the equipment was, the better you're going to reach that 70% incentive. That's what they were trying to do. The state incentivized the oldest equipment throughout New Jersey.
Right.
So we were going with that for the last 10 years. When all this COVID hit, they put it all on pause. We're not even allowed to audit buildings for potential customers.
Right.
We can't do anything with the program. So over the last month, we've been thinking about other ways for the energy guys to offer other products to our clients, our construction or energy, to friends, to tenants. What can we do to help people out to get, once they go back to work, what else can we offer them to help them out? And with that, we've been looking into UV lighting and how it can be used to disinfect and sterilize buildings. Yep. And there's different UV lighting, whether it's UVA, B, or C.
Okay.
UVA and B is safe to be around while it's on. So a lot of hospitals already have these products installed. UVC is different, where you can't be in a room when these products are on. So say you have a big ballroom or a big office, you could potentially wheel one of these products into the room, either at night or in the morning before people come into work. Somebody would leave the room, turn it on with a remote or an app, and it would disinfect depending on the size and how much stuff is in the room. It would disinfect the room.
Really? The whole room, surfaces and everything? And
everything. Walls, floors, desks, under desks. Obviously, if you have a book on a desk,
right,
it's not going to get inside the pages of the book, right?
Right.
But in essence, any surface, it'll disinfect. And it's pretty interesting stuff. And so the supplier who we were using with the New Jersey Clean Energy Program for the last 10 years, they're the largest wholesaler of lighting in the country.
Wow.
We've partnered with them to offer this UV lighting. And so over the last few weeks, we've been offering webinars to our customers, all different customers, clients, like I said, tenants, anybody we can think of. We're offering free webinars to kind of train them and really just educate people on all the different products out there. Because once people go back to work, they're going to need to feel safe,
right,
no matter where you're working, right?
Right.
And so, like today, like we were discussing before, like today we partnered with the CIANJ, Commerce and Industry, and we are having a webinar with them at 1 p.m. To talk about all these different products and really educate everyone on them.
Well, that's fair. So let me, again, I know there are those in the audience that say, light? How can light clean surfaces? Don't you need, the equivalent of a Lysol or something to spray and so on? Can you talk a little about, so the light, how does it kill, and it kills COVID-19. It kills COVID-19. How does that work, for the uneducated like me?
Well, I'm no lighting expert, but it depends. So UVA, B, and C, like I said, UVA and B have been, and C, been around a long time. They've actually been around since the 30s.
Wow.
And in theory, there hasn't been that much of a demand for a product like that because, the old school way was you have a company come in at night, they clean your office, they buy disinfectants, and they disinfect an office, clean, the bathrooms, clean the doorknobs. But now you're thinking, hey, how can we have a product that's literally anything it touches, it's gonna clean.
Yeah.
So these different beam of lights can disinfect depending on what type they are. So obviously UVA and B are not as strong as a UVC, which is why UVC can't be around the product.
Right.
It's pretty interesting stuff, and we've had a lot of people that have been really excited about this. We've been having these webinars, like I said, for a couple of weeks now. Like I said, I'm not the lighting expert, so I can't get into all the exact details of each UV ray.
Right.
But it's been around for a long time. Like I said, hospitals.
But it's fascinating. But Chris, but it's fact because again, I got my car cleaned yesterday, and I went to my local, and they told me stay in the car. We don't clean insides of cars. We can't be open if we don't. We can only do the outside. We can't touch your car. And so these are the New Jersey regulations. And I'm sitting as you're talking, I'm thinking, is this something that people could use to clean the inside of their car? These UV rays. Is this something where you could have? Is it a flashlight kind of thing or something? Do you know? Is that available? Are they working on that?
Some of more of them, they're more larger products, maybe the size of a 2x2 box, 2 foot by 2 foot box. That would be on wheels that you literally could wheel into from room to room.
Right.
I haven't seen any handheld products.
Okay.
There are supposedly handheld products on the internet, but given that we haven't really seen them be that successful. But the bigger products are meant for larger buildings. But like yesterday, we had a webinar for country clubs.
Right.
And one of the club managers asked, how can we disinfect all the golf carts? So you can set up one of these in the cart barn,
right?
Turn it on, and depending on the room and how large it is and how many golf carts you have, you may have to set up a few, or you may have to do a 20 at a time, but you can disinfect stuff like that. And I'm not sure you could set up a car outside and disinfect it, but if you had a garage and you had a car,
Right.
you could surely set up a product like this in your garage and disinfect your car. Sure.
Well, let's talk, because again, obviously, we're at the Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Fairleigh Dickinson University, where I'm the director. We're working with small businesses. We're becoming one of the voices of small businesses. And what you're talking about is so important, because so many of the restaurants, so many of the retail folks are closed. The second they get the orders to open up, people are going to be scared to go in to eat. But if you have this kind of lighting that, every night before they clean up, this light goes and cleans it up, that makes people more comfortable, and that'll help these family businesses get back on their feet. And that's really kind of what you're thinking, right? Is to really be,
Oh yeah,
a resource.
And with the cleaning, and then you promote it to your clients.
Yeah.
Whether it's a billboard you have saying, promoting, hey, look, this is how we clean our facility. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't see people going anywhere without feeling comfortable, and rightfully so. And so,
is the state of
really,
New Jersey really, have they, I don't want to say, I don't want to mandating things, but are they giving advice? Or have they come out with things like this to say, okay, if you're going to open up your restaurant, you've got to use this kind of thing? Are you hearing anything? Is the state giving any guidance, or they're just so overwhelmed, to say, well, this is how you have to clean your restaurant before you open up? Have you heard anything about that?
Through the state, I haven't seen anything. As you know, Murphy's definitely taking his time and slowly opening things up. This past weekend they opened up the golf courses and the parks, and I think over time they're gonna learn more about potentially products like this. But I don't know if they're gonna force everyone to clean that way, because you can go the other way and put on a pair of gloves and manually clean stuff. So, but I think disinfecting in general is going to be the way of the future for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we're hearing more and more about, this summer will hopefully, get closer to normal, and then there may be maybe something coming up in the, in the winter again next year. So this cleaning isn't going to go away. Masks aren't going to go away. Gloves aren't going to go away. So I think we're really almost at the end of time. I mean, you have an amazing family business that's surviving the crisis, that's doing well. You have your brothers with you. What advice do you have for family businesses as you've worked? Do you have, one of the things that I teach my students, we say a lot of businesses should have a family council or a board of directors or advisors or other things. Do you guys have that structure, or what are some of the best practices that you think as we end that a family business should know about?
I think a board of directors is important. We have one. I think also, this actually came to us about 6 months ago. Somebody mentioned to us that we should have a board of directors and let each family member pick somebody to be on the board. Which is, that's quite interesting, because our board of directors was a group my father put together. Right. And now here we are. We have the next generation, 3 brothers, and so we've been talking about that the next board of meeting we have, that myself, my 2 brothers, bring somebody on that we feel would be important for the success of the business. Well, I think is brilliant.
I think that's great. And I got to give your, I don't know your dad well, but this whole idea of thinking about succession. Too many folks, it's been their life work. They're scared. They basically say, when I leave, my life is over. But it's not. It's really just your new life is starting, and you have amazing family members to take over. So Chris, yeah. I just want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to hearing more about this lighting, this way to clean with lighting. I think that could really help a lot of family and small businesses. So thank you. Keep golfing. I'm a tennis guy. We've been pushing to open up the tennis courts, but if you open up golf, you got to open up tennis. But I love golf too. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dale, for having me.
Yeah, take care. Take care. Good luck with the webinar today.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye. This is Dale Caldwell signing off. Thank you for joining us on Family Business World, and we will see you next week.